see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Brian, and today is Monday, June 24th, 2024, and this is episode 726 of the Lost Project podcast titled Data Everywhere. I'll be chatting about lots of data breaches, lots of weekend progress, lots of new products, and a little bit more. First, let's hang out in with the group in the live chat. Head over, see over who's in the coffee crew, grab a cup and hang out for an hour. Everything sound all right, guys? I got a new monitor hooked up, and the volume was screwed up on the laptop this morning. It all jumped over onto the second monitor. I just want to make sure the mic rolled in okay and transferred, because everything is different now. So let me know if it sounds all right out there. Just trying to make sure. Okay, yeah, the speaker defaulted to. Interesting. Speaker defaulted, but mic didn't. Nice. Thanks, K-Bonk. Rachel says, look at you, double monitor. Just by happenstance. But let's see who's hanging out. Mike's Homestead, good morning. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Pickle Pete, I got your data and Squatch Fest recap after action report today on his show. Good morning, Rewilder Life. Good morning, Jim. How's it going? K-Bonk and Hunter swinging in over on Twitch. Thanks a lot for that. And yeah, I got another monitor in the mail on Friday or Saturday, one of the two. I was out at, must have been Saturday. I was out at Delinquent's Gully, stopped by Jamie's, where he's been lucky or kind enough to let me receive packages at his place. And yeah, monitor was here. I got a list of stuff I'll talk about a little later that's rolled in. I pumped the brakes when we had issues with post office, and then ramped up a little bit and needed to work on the property. So to get caught back up, I stopped requesting products, and it went through a little lull, and then it's time to ramp it up again. And a bunch showed up. So let you know what's going to be coming up soon. What's in the cup this morning? Pickle Pete snuck, Brian, Pickle Pete, also known as Pickle Pete, snuck in a medium roast in my C4 package this month. I opened that up first thing, put the rest into the rotation, and opened up that small bag of medium Costa Rican, and it's good. It's good. It's not my favorite. I have to admit that I am definitely a light roast guy. I have been, and Brian knows that, and he always tries to get me to expand my horizons, and the medium is good. He could send me darkest of the dark roast, and it's still drinkable. I'm not saying that, but I really dial in on that light roast. So the medium Costa Rican isn't bad. It does have a lot more body. It has a lot more mouth feel to it. And it just really, yeah, it's good. It's good. If you want to try some of that light roast, medium roast, or dark roast clean air stream roasted coffee, you need to head over to foodforestfarms.com. Check out the offerings he has there. He will be able to probably tell you what your preference is if you give him a little information. Tell him what you like, tell him the flavors you like, tell him what you're currently drinking, and he can get you into something that is the right flavor, the right roast, and the right bean for you. He's done it with me multiple times, and he can do it for you too. foodforestfarms.com. Go over, check it out. You can always use discount code LOTS10, LOTS10, gets you 10% off anything at foodforestfarms.com. That's a one-time use coupon. If you've already used that, please use LOTS5, LOTS5. That gets you 5% off every day on everything at foodforestfarms.com. Head on over there, check it out. Check out the free music there. Check out all the coffee there, all the other offerings on the Food Forest Farms website. In the chat here, got Jim has Food Forest Farms the perfect cup in the cup today, and K-Bong sipping on some Brian's blend. Both phenomenal. I'm a little biased towards the perfect cup. It might have been something that I had a hand in coming up with. The Brian's blend, although I am Brian and I am the Brian on this show, I don't necessarily think it was named after me. I'm pretty sure it was invented before he met me, but I mean, close enough. Head on over to foodforestfarms.com and pick up some coffee today. Rewilder Life says, I'm on my PC today, so I can walk around. I can't walk around with you. Easier to type, not easier to get shit done. Yeah, I haven't had a desktop. Well, I guess I've used my laptop as a desktop for years now, multiple years, and yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, let's get into it for Monday morning. How was everybody's weekend? Mine was rather busy, for sure. We'll have to we'll talk about that here after the data breach. But I wanted to circle back to that because we talked about it last week a little bit because Pip had who's not here. I was hoping to get a little update on their system hack. If you listened to last week, Pip had a system at work. He works at in the parts department at a at a car dealership, and their customer management software, their inventory software, it's like an all-in-one, one-stop shop. K-Bong says, who buys a desktop anymore? Mini PCs, would they be considered desktops? Would a mini PC be considered a desktop? Because I'm about ready to, I'm thinking about one of those. Good morning, Canadian Farmstead from the road. Rewilder Life says it's a laptop, but it has to be plugged in. Battery is shot. I changed the battery in mine. I was in that very situation, Rewilder Life, and it's a very simple process to change the battery, and it worked great. So just think about it, consider it. There's plenty of videos on the YouTubes to figure that out. Anyway, Pip's work. They use this software that is kind of an all-in-one encompassing. Excuse me. It manages everything: parts, sales, top to bottom. All their computer stuff is managed through this software. And they had a data breach, and they had a big old hack, and it is affecting a boatload. And I don't know if it's still going on. That's what I was hoping to hear from him in the chat this morning, but we'll see. We'll see if he's in. He's probably knee deep in inventory or some bullshit that he's got to do. But it basically paralyzed the car dealership. It literally, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't sell a car. They couldn't return a car. They couldn't work on a car. They couldn't sell a part. They couldn't do anything. And it's kind of scary when you think about the fact that, you got a car dealership, you got quite a few people there. You got quite a few people that are there relying on you as an employer. A lot of them are probably sales commission based. They can't sell cars. They can't, you got your service techs that can't work on cars. You're relying on everything in that business to be controlled by this software. The software company goes ahead and gets hacked, and all your data is gone. It's in the wind. It's in the wind. It's kind of a scary deal. It's kind of a scary deal. It's a scary deal for a big business, but when you get into small businesses and they're using these types of softwares, it turns out to be even more scary. Jim says ransomware is big these days too. Yeah, I talked to I mentioned it last week that there was the Canadian drugstore, like a CVS equivalent down here, Walgreens equivalent in the U.S., and it shut down like half of Canada's branch locations for days on end. No prescriptions filled, no nothing, because they had a data breach. They got into their servers, and it was pretty much a nightmare. They just shut the doors. They didn't really release what was going on for a couple days. People thought that they were just closed. They didn't know what was going on, and finally they came out and said that they had a data breach. And yeah, it's kind of, so when you think about your privacy, and we talk about digital privacy in our communities, in our circles, in the kind of the survivor prep, the prepper, not sheeple. I don't even know what big bucket to put everybody in that would be aware of digital privacy, because it's a lot. It's not just the homesteaders or the preppers or the anarchists, or like, there are a lot of people that on their radar is digital privacy. And when you really stop and think about it, how many places have information that could be damaging to you? Not like sex tapes or gotcha recordings or shit like that. But like, you go to the car dealership and you buy a car, and your loan documents get put through, and all your personal information, all your social security number, which is not supposed to be identification, but anyway, social security number, address, income, everything that you need to get a loan. It's stored, it's sent and stored somewhere. Doctor's offices, grocery store checkout lines that you preload your card into. The car dealership is another thing, like where you go in and you get when you go and get your service done, you look at the stuff that they ask you. All that stuff is stored. It's all stored on a cloud. It's all stored in a data server farm. What happens when somebody gets into those things? It's kind of scary. What's floating around out there. So when Pip started talking about that, I was curious what other major breaches, because the exact numbers that Pip gave the other day were I don't quite recall the exact numbers, but he was saying 150 countries. 150 countries, and the amount of car dealerships this is affecting is unbelievable. Jim says identity theft 101. Right. So I was just curious, in the last year or so, let me see where this goes back to. Okay, this is going to go back to January 2023. So a year and a half. Coming up on a year and a half here. I was wondering what major data breaches there's been. What major data hacks there's been. So January 2023, Norton LifeLock. Norton, the big name in internet security, LifeLock. Yeah, that they had an internet they had a data breach. The guys that are supposed to be protecting you from the spyware and all of that. Good morning, Pip. How's it going? We were just talking about you, wondering how your data breach is going. Are you back online? Or what's going on with that? Mike's Homestead said ransomware hit us at work about a year ago, basically shut our servers. Though the business was not stopped, it was definitely hampered. Just not getting email from clients is a problem. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. For sure. So Norton LifeLock, January 2023. MailChimp, January 2023. They got hit. Email addresses are a big time username. And if they're pulling email addresses off of MailChimp, they know what you like, where you're logging in. The problem with these data breaches is then all that information gets put into the ether, and then they cross-reference it. So when you get a data breach at one company and they have an email, and then they have another data breach and they have an email and a password, all of that starts marrying together. That's where it gets really bad. When they can cross-reference different data sources and start connecting the dots. That's why they say don't use the same password for everything. Don't use the same email for all of your secured logins or things of that nature. So MailChimp, January 2023. Twitter, January 2023. Verizon, January 2023. Okay, MailChimp, pretty big database of email addresses. Twitter, oh, there's only a couple of people that use Twitter. Details of the 235 million Twitter accounts and email addresses associated with them were made public in a leak. 235 million users. Verizon, 7.5 million wireless subscribers affected. Google Fum, whatever it is, February 2023, Google Fi's high-profile data breach comes as a consequence of T-Mobile data breach earlier in 2023, discussed above. Let's see. I didn't even get to that one because I'm going backwards on the list. I'm going backwards. Google Fi, Activision in February 2023. It's just, the list is going to go on and on. Pip says, still dead in the water. We've been photocopying any work orders in hopes to enter the data in if or when CDK Global comes back up. Pip says he heard it through the grapevine. It's an $80 million ransom. That is only conjecture. That's only hearsay. But 80 million in Bitcoin only, please. Is that why Bitcoin's dipping? Let's get back. February 2023, Activision. MCB Management Services, February 2023. Chick-fil-A, March 2023. Chick-fil-A. All of the rewards programs, all those reward cards, and or store your info to make ordering easier, shit like that. Yeah, that's all there. Chat GPT, March 2023. I don't know if I have user data with ChatGPT, but I know a lot of people do. I for Fraud, a provider of fraud protection for e-commerce merchants, was impacted by a significant hack in March of this year, in March of 2023. A provider of fraud protection for e-commerce merchants. Discord, similar to Telegram, if you use that. That was March 23. Pharmerica, a pharmaceutical company. A pharmacy services company hacked. Pharmacies, yeah. They got your prescriptions and your name, and they know what your health conditions are through this. Rewilder Life says, our local school district and then our county, I bet if it happened here, it's everywhere. This is ransom too. Yeah, so that's we're already all the way through March of 2023. Yum Brands, that owns KFC, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut, in April 2023. T-Mobile in May 2023 and January 23, a double a double dip on T-Mobile. We talked about, I mentioned that earlier with Google Fee. That's how they backdoored into the Google stuff. T-Mobile, Microsoft, May 2023. All those security updates they do, yeah, don't fucking matter. They don't do their own. PBI and Move It. Move It is a exercise app that's very popular on Android and Apple. They had 17.5 million individuals get their email address and such stolen. Duolingo in August 2023. MGM Grand. Vegas, anyone? Anybody online betting? John Palmer, good morning. How are you? Thanks for stopping in. MGM Grand. Yeah, a couple people have popped in there and given them some information. Walmart, October 2023. Samsung. These aren't little companies. These aren't companies that don't have internet security departments. These are large companies. Oh, here's one of my favorite ones. December 2023. Do you remember? Who got who had a data breach in 2023, December of 2023? I know it was 6 months ago. But the one that I was always worried about, the one that I'm not worried about, I didn't use the service, but the one I was always skeptical about, 23andMe. 23andMe, which the data of 6.9 million users was leaked. 5.5 million of these users had DNA relatives enabled, which connects members with similar genetic profiles. A further 1.4 million users had their family trees accessed. Mother of all breaches, 2024. In its data security, we encountered just not a breach, but a significant data leak, dubbed the mother of all breaches, unveiled a colossal 12 terabytes of information and 26 billion records. That was in January 2024. Just a huge data dump. U-Haul, 2024. Roku, March 2024. International Monetary Fund. International Monetary Fund. The IMF had a data breach. John Palmer says United Healthcare. International Monetary Fund was March 2024. Fujitsu, March 2024. Change Healthcare, March 2024. American Express. Oh, what kind of information might American Express have? I don't know. Nothing important. AT&T, April 2024. Ticketmaster, May 2024. Snowflake. I don't know what Snowflake is. Oh, cloud storage. Snowflake has set off a wave of leaks that could potentially become one of the largest data breaches ever. Weird. Guys, what do you do about it? What can you do about it? Rachel says never trust the cloud. That's not about you trusting the cloud. Mike Homestead says, well, too bad they didn't shut down the IMF permanently. That's what I'm saying. I mean, right? Can the Fed get hacked, please? Can the Fed get hacked, please? Real Elder Life says, never trust the cloud. Who are you interacting with that doesn't use a cloud server right now? K-Bonk says, what has not been breached? You're picking up what I was trying to get at there. Jim says security through obscurity. Yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't think any financial institution, anything, if you were to call up and say, yeah, my identity's been stolen, like, how could they ever question that? With all the left, right, and center attacks that are going on. I mean, we just rolled through some in the last 18 months. The list was longer than I wanted to read. What? How could they challenge anything? Rewilder Life says the kids hold their own data. You have to use the cloud, but you don't depend on it. I'm not talking about you. You're giving your data to people all the time. When you go to the doctor, do you think they hold that on hard servers, or do they put that in the cloud? Because most of the last few doctors' offices I've been to, I don't go as often as I probably should. But when I walked in the door, they had my records from another branch. I don't think they're sending that back and forth on hard drives. When you go and use your reward program card at XYZ restaurant or your credit card or your rewards card at the grocery store or any of that, that's not you putting your data in the cloud. So what do you do about that? You don't give your information to anyone outside of what you have on your data, on your hard disk, on your portable drives. I don't think there's any way around it. Ruala Life says the doctor's office I worked at, everyone had personal drives. You own it, but well, you just got a loan. I'm curious if that loan data is on the cloud somewhere. Mike Holmes says they don't have to. It's your problem to prove it wasn't you. It is. I mean, it really is. It is. So yeah, it's something to think about. Rewilder says no, it is. I just don't care. It is what it is, and that's to the point I got. What like you can worry about it constantly. You can be in fear of it. You can wait for the other shoe to drop, but it is what it is. It's like terms of service on an app that you need to use. Okay, so here's a scenario. You want to use your bank app on their phone, or the bank might not be a good idea. There's something that you are required to use a phone app, and you have to agree to the terms of service to use the app. And there's something in the terms of service that is questionable, or who knows. What can you do about it? You can't decline the terms of service, or you can't get access to what you need. That was a long time ago that I was like, yeah, they have you over a barrel. Jim says I was held off doing things on my phone, but it was pulled in. There was a concerted effort for that. That's the whole end goal, is to make it so you have to make it. K-Bong says, who reads terms of service? That's the thing. That's where no one did. Well, very few did. But at a point, if you want to function in the easiest way possible, they make it easy for you to download the app and hit OK. I'm curious what is being constantly downloaded in the security updates on my phone. Hunter says need to learn how to make barrels with how everything is going. I want to know why when Google or Samsung downloads, and this is really putting me to the tipping point of a de-Googled phone. It's a really big break to make with as much YouTube as we do, with as much mobile uploading to socials as we do with the stuff we have going on. But the constant security downloads and security uploads or security updates that I get on my phone that end up putting more games on my phone, that end up putting more in-house apps that I can't delete, that I don't want, that I don't use, that just take up storage space. Jim says the convenience fee that I was charged for paying online has me writing and mailing checks again. Really? They're now charging you. They're now charging you to pay online again. They want to do more work with checks? Or what's the end goal of this? That just people won't notice, people won't see, and it's just like the free money coming in. The world's cracking up, guys. Head down. Where are you headed? Put your head down and get there, because there is all sorts of shit going on. So that's just something to think about with the whole data breach thing. Pip kind of Jim says apparently they want more. Weird. What companies are nailing you for online fees, Jim? If you don't mind me asking, don't need to give specifics, but yeah, just curious what types of places are charging you. Credit cards, utilities, things like that. Local, national, big, small. Oh, utilities. Like local utilities? Ah. Yeah, I don't pay that. That's what I would have guessed. If I had to guess if it was anything, I figured it would have been utilities. Interesting. Dun-dun-dun. All right. Well, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, get you thinking about it. Like we've kind of come to the conclusion, there isn't a whole lot you can do about it. As far as, back in the day when online was just starting, we were like, oh, be careful. Don't ever enter your information online. Stuff like that. And now now it is just, it's open season. It's open season with the data that goes in. Oh, Lakeland. Yeah, Lakeland. That's because all you old folks down there all want to write checks in Lakeland, Florida. I know lots of people in the Lakeland area, actually. Hunter says the company I pay rent to, they switched banks, and now I get charged an extra $2.95. Weird. DMV, Ray Wilder says the DMV there in Michigan, we always bring a check. Also, the city does for fees. The DMV in Minnesota, I remember for the longest time, didn't take credit cards at all. Not like the rural DMV where I was, where, it's open 2 days a week for 3 hours and you got to go to the specific one that's open. It literally in the cities, the whole state, you couldn't use a credit card. And then when they let you use a credit card, the fees were just through the roof. And this was at a point where no one had checks anymore. Jim says now we have an app for that. Yep. And he says, I've forgotten that he's middle-aged for this group. Just keep telling yourself that. We have a lot of young listeners. Just maybe not in the chat this early because they stay up later. But think about the data, guys. Think about what are you going to do? Here's the biggest question. What are you going to do if your data starts affecting you negatively? What are you going to do if one of these data breaches that happens and somebody steals your identity? Do you have a service that covers for that? Do you have a plan in place for if that happens? Are you diversified enough that if some of your information is compromised, maybe not all of it is? Do you know what's not going to get compromised in a data breach if you're smart about it? Do you know what's not going to get compromised in in one of these big hacks? And you know what's on super sale right now? Bitcoin held on a Blockstream Jade. That's not going to get compromised. Not unless you do something stupid. Not unless it's your fault. If we want to take some personal responsibility and we want to say, you know, it's all these companies are shooting our data all around there. Maybe have a little nest egg and some Bitcoin on a hardware wallet tacked away in your Rewiley Life says cash. Yeah. Cash, precious metals, appropriately held Bitcoin. I would rather have the latter in my safe if it's going to be there for a long time. Whew. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to what I got done this weekend. It was a good weekend for sure. It was hot. Jim says all these ransomware examples had someone click on something they shouldn't have. Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter the why. I don't really think it matters the why. I think it matters that it happened. Oh, his point is one person is all it takes. And we know the average IQ of society is just on its way down. So that one person becomes more and more and more likely. What did we get done out at the property this weekend? Corey has been stuck here with the dogs, with the weather. We still Pip says unless it was an inside job that allowed a hack. Inside job, still one person is all it takes. Corey's been hanging out here with the dogs. We really the power stability here, the air conditioner stability here, all of it. We just don't like to risk both of us going when it's as warm as it is and as sunny as it is, because a failure at any point, it really please tell me you're joking, Mike. You have to be. What a troll. Mike's Homestead says, I took a screenshot of my seed phrase and share it between my devices so I have access to it from anywhere. Could you send it to me? I'll check on it for you. Make sure it's the right seed phrase. I mean, Bitcoin's going to zero anyway, so you might as well just send it to me. I'll clean up the mess for you. So it's been warm. Corey has been here with the dog. She's been doing a ton of work here, really keeping things rolling at home through the heat. We got a few more months of it, but we're working on things. We got a lot of stuff going on between now and August that, we just got plans. We're going to have some family in town. we have some other weekend plans, but I've been out there working away. Been out there working away, and we once I got the shed up, we talked last week, got the shed up, got the metal shed up. The next step is our 12 by 20 tarp garage. You've seen them. They're just the pipe frame with the tarp over top of it. I started clearing the area where I thought it was going to be. It was a little too sloped. Talked to Corey. We're gonna flip it around. Had a lot of clearing to do with that. Some trees needed to come down, specifically 4 trees and a dead. It wouldn't be a stump. It was about 15-foot tall dead trunk of a tree. Had to come down. There was a large piece of large deadfall, probably 20 plus inches in diameter, on the ground, laying across the area. So that needed to be cut up. Lots of overgrown brush, raspberries, blackberries, and the such right there needed to be cleared out. So that was my goal going into the weekend. Saturday, I got out there and I cleared we had already started to clear the growth, the raspberries, the weeds, the saplings and everything in this area. So it wasn't too thick. It took me, it only took me like 15 minutes to get that cleared out. I went to grab my saw and realized that I had left the bar oil and the fuel back at the camper. When I had unloaded the back of the truck to do some things, to get the bricks, actually, I had left that sitting under the camper and never threw it back in the truck. So I didn't have my saw, and I'd only been there for an hour or so, and it's a half an hour to get there, a half hour to get home. And so I wanted to be productive a little bit since I had come out for the day. So I grabbed a machete and I literally cleared the whole site that we had kind of flagged out that we wanted to. So the site where the cabin's going to be, the front yard, I didn't get to the backyard, but the whole front yard on the 2 side yards and the area where we're going to put this garage structure. I guess it's not a shed. It's just a garage. Got all that knocked down. And you're like, oh, that's not very much. Yeah, it was like 5 to 6 foot tall blackberries, saplings, and all sorts of assorted growth. Just went at it. It was hot, humid, heat index over 100, and it was not bad. It wasn't bad. Part of it was in the shade. A lot of work for a half an hour, and then go sit down, grab some water, and cool off. Went through that Saturday. Sunday I was sure to bring out the fuel and the bar oil, and knocked it out. I got that big deadfall, that has been there since we've been on the property. I got that chunked up and moved out of there. It was quite heavy. Started to drop some trees. I ended up dropping 2 trees in the area I needed to, and then some other smaller ones around the edge, and actually one that was going to be under the footprint of the cabin that needed to be brought down. But when I got to the area that I wanted to drop the last few trees, the wind had picked up, and these aren't small trees. They're probably anywhere from 30 to 60 foot tall, I would say, or the range, the few I have to drop to get this garage up, to avoid having to worry about smashing it. I had to take 2 trees out to put the metal shed up. There were a bunch that needed to come out for this, and then a few more. I think I got a total of about 10 to 12 left to bring it down. Mike says, as hot as it was, that's a lot. I worked cutting wood for 6 or 7 hours on Saturday. I was beat. Yeah, I was beat after Saturday, and I went right back at it yesterday, running the saw. And I didn't buck up the stuff I dropped, but I got 5 trees on the ground. I cut up the big deadfall, got that out of the way, And when I got to the last 3 that I was going to bring down, I started looking at them. And, I really take my time and evaluate the trees, especially when they're that big. What way they want to fall, what way the trunk is, what way the trunk is leaning, what way the branches are stacked on the tree, if the breeze blows, which way it wants to sway. And as I'm looking at these trees, there was a certain order I needed to drop them in, just the way they all needed to fall. And the first tree that I needed to drop, and it wasn't even a spectacularly big one. It was probably, 8 to 10 inches in diameter and maybe 20 feet, maybe 25 foot tall. But the weird part was it like the trunk went straight up and then kind of angled and then angled back and then went straight up again, the majority of it. And about 3/4 of the way up, a huge branch came off to the one side that had like a big pom-pom on the end that I wasn't really sure how heavy that branch was, but it was leaning in a third direction from the way the trunk was being all squirrely. And then the top lollipopped out in the fourth direction. So this tree literally, I was trying to figure out in my head where this weight wants to go. It's almost like it's perfectly balanced without being straight. And I looked at it and I looked at it. And as I'm watching it and really trying to figure out what way I want to take it, and it really, those are the scary ones, the smaller ones. That's not too big. It'll kill you in a second. It's big enough. But it's not it's not the 20-inch diameter. It's not the 18-inch diameter ones I got to drop that are 60 feet that shake the ground when they hit. But are there the dangerous ones that get all squirrely? I'm looking at it and the wind's picking up. The breeze, it felt great because it was hot. But I was scared shitless to cut this tree down. It's going to be a not windy day. It's going to be a not windy day. And I'm probably going to tie it off to something and put a little pressure on one side or the other. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's got to come down. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. There's nothing that a come along and a little tension to one side won't fix. But at that point, with what I had and as tired as I was and as hot as it was and the way the wind was blowing, I said, nope, done. And went home a little early. So got all that stuff done. One tip that was thrown in the Telegram group that I think everybody should know. If you we got the heat dome, from what I understand. People are talking about the heat dome. Mike says, come along, and sure it goes the direction you want it to go. And that's what this tree is. I'm really confident in my tree dropping abilities. Like Seth says in Superbad, I'd be happy if somebody was complimenting me on my dick giving abilities, or my tree dropping abilities. But I do all right. I do all right for sure. As hot as it is in the heat dome, Pickle Piece says we had to drop a 30-inch dead hanger. Holy shit, the top 40 foot cracked off and came back. I dove behind a 3 foot thick Caesar trunk as the 5-ton top landed 4 foot away. That was Tuesday. Yeah. It'll a 3 foot cedar trunk. Yeah. It's it gets spooky. I dropped one yesterday. It was at like a 45-degree angle. I don't know how, with the wind that we have here, that this tree wasn't on the ground already. The trunk came up straight for about maybe 5 to 6 feet ish. And then it just went out at a 45-degree angle. And the thing must have been 50 foot at a minimum. It was hard to tell because it was at an angle. And I didn't dare back cut it. Like cut wedge out and then cut from the other side. I felt that if I tried to take that wedge out, it was just going to come down, and I didn't want to deal with that shit. And with as much weight that was hanging out the other side, I figured I could just come in from the back and just go slow and let it do its thing. And so I came in from the back, and I was going through it. I got to about halfway, and I heard a little crack, and then I went a little bit further, and the thing literally snapped off about 6 foot in the air, straight up the middle. It was totally rotten on the inside. Total rotten core, which made me think, how the hell did this not fall already? First of all. But it just boop. And I was like, yeah, if I had cut back, if I had tried to cut that wedge out on that side, it probably wouldn't have been good. It definitely wouldn't have been good. So it was something where I just stopped and evaluated and keep your head about you. And the more experience you get, the more you kind of figure it out. So it's all about being careful and stopping when you're not sure. And so, like Mike Homestead says, grabbing a come along and some rope is going to be the way I'm going to go with this one. And and I'm glad it's tiny. It's not a killer. I don't think it's a killer. It's small enough. And the other larger ones seem pretty solid. When I check the base, and there's no big knots, there's no signs of rot in them, so that's good. I did see some in some of the other ones I cut down, and I was sure to work around that. So anyway, last 8 minutes here. Oh, the tip from Blueberry, Texas, over in the Telegram group, for working in the heat. When you are working in the heat, he said it's fantastic to, you work in the morning, the first 5 minutes you're out there, you're totally drenched. Your shirt is like, it's like you dumped it in a bucket of water and barely wrung it out, put it on. It's like sticky. But you want it on if you're like clearing brush, you're doing work like that. You when you do stuff like that with no shirt or shorts on, or you don't have long pants, you get all cut up. So you're wearing your shirt, you're working along, keeping the sun off your back, whatever you're using, the boating shirts, the fishing shirts, the really nice lightweight, breathable shirts, they get soaking wet too. So what he said you do is you wear that all morning. When you stop for lunch, you take it off and you hang it up and you dry off. You hang it up. By the time lunch is done, these lightweight shirts are usually dry. Or you have another dry shirt to put on while you eat lunch. You put that dry shirt on, just for that little time being while that other shirt dries out. And I was like, does it really make that much difference? Holy shit. I took a dry shirt out with me and flip-flop back and forth. So it was kind of breezy. It was sunny, so it didn't take real long for my shirts to dry when I hung them up on a tree branch. And just switching to that dry shirt was night and day difference. And it only lasted for 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes at most, and then it was soaked again. But I was looking forward to the 20 minutes, half hour, hour later that I got to put that dry shirt back on. That sweaty, dried shirt. And I understand they're not clean, but they're dry. And flip-flopping back and forth between them throughout the day made me feel better. So if you got to be out in the heat and when you take water breaks, you feel that other shirt, see if it's dry, you throw that on. It feels pretty good. Just thanks for Blueberry for suggesting that over in the Telegram group. I tried it out this weekend and it made a difference. John Palmer says, I always wear a shemagh. What the hell is that? I'm not sure what that is. Mike's Homestead says cut an 18-inch hickory Saturday that the top was broke off 25 foot up. Hook track or hook the tractor to the top, but could not rip it off. I cut it, but those are scary, nearly impossible to figure out where they'll go. Yeah, for sure. Mike's Homestead took a shower and changed clothes Saturday just to eat lunch. I could see that. I could see that for sure. It was definitely warm. Oh, John says it's a Middle East head cover. Oh, interesting. Pip says, Pip spelled it out for me. Shimagog, a Middle Eastern towel around the head. Yeah, I got to get myself a sun hat. Jamie out there's got a nice big wide brim sun hat, and I definitely got to pick myself up one of those for this temperate area. And the sun's a little stronger here than it was up in Minnesota too. So, I mentioned that I had those products rolling in, new products rolling in. I have more coming, but I was going to let you know what I got coming up here. New things I got in. Side monitor, second monitor. I got 15.9 inch standalone monitor, which is really cool. I might be doing a little bit of Raspberry Pi work and experimenting. So this will be a nice monitor to hook up to that. Going to test that out. I got yesterday, I ended up picking up, I guess it was Saturday, a battery bank solar panel combo. This isn't quite as big as the Anchors or the Blue Eddies. This is basically they stayed in the under 300 watt hour category. So that's a 299 watt hour. It puts out 600 watt battery bank, LifePo battery. And then it came with a foldable 100 watt solar panel in its own case, and it holds all the cords and everything. So I'm excited to try that out. It gets us a little bit of power out at the property. And I'm hoping the videos do well and the company's happy with them, because they do make some larger models, and I would be excited to test some of those out. I also got a rando just 100 watt solar panel. It's a flexible solar panel, or semi-flexible is what it calls, but it basically you can put it in waves through it, I guess. You can kind of bend it. You can't bend it in half, but it is definitely flexible. Meant for sticking up on the side of an RV, maybe on the top of your car, on your trunk, or wherever you need to get that 100 watt solar panel. So I'm excited to test that out, and I'm glad that battery bank came in, and I'm hoping that all the specs line up that I can test it out with that new battery bank. I got a wireless TENS unit. You know what a TENS unit is? The electric stim pads. You see them do the TENS unit beer drinking challenge, where they'll put the TENS unit pads on your bicep to make your bicep contract and expand when the pulse goes, and they try to drink their beer with their hand jumping around. Got one of those in, so that's cool. Grip tape. Company sent out some grip tape for boat decks, because I talked to them and they said, you got any use for grip tape? I said, oh, well, we do dog ramps. We have a dog ramp that goes in and out of the camper and the truck that we retape often because our boys tear it up. So they sent out a roll of grip tape, and the same company also sent out some 2-part epoxy resin for doing crafts. Clear epoxy resin where you're going to cast things in the epoxy. I was talking to them and they asked if I had any need for that. And I've been thinking about doing some of those little epoxy resin keepsakes with some of the rocks that we found that we picked up along our travels, and some other things from the farm and whatnot. So I got some of that in the mail. And I'm really excited because I'm going to try them out today when I head out to DG, Delinquent's Gully, not Dollar General. But I had somebody send me out a pair of cat work boots. Cat, as in like caterpillar, steel-toed hiking boots. I don't know if they're necessarily hiking boots or just work boots that look like hiking boots. Um, Hunter says, I thought you were going to say you were going to resin epoxy snails. No. I did find some snail shells when I was moving the deadfall, but no. So I'm excited to try out these cat boots. I was needing some new boots for working on the property. I had some Keens that I blew through way too fast. I used to be a big fan of Keens, not these ones. They made my feet hurt. They made my back hurt. They made and they tore apart super quick. So I was on the hunt for a new pair of boots, and these guys popped up, and I sent them a request and said, "Hey, I need a new pair of hiking boots. I prefer a steel toe because I do a lot of work in the woods, saws and dropping trees and all the sort." And so he said, "Let's do it." Sent me out a nice pair of boots. I got them yesterday. I picked them up yesterday. Look, nice boots. So they'll be fun. They'll be fun. Mike Homestead said, I owned a pair of cat boots. Worst boots I ever had, did not last any amount of time. Perfect. That's why I like to get them free and test them out so I can help you avoid buying them next time. I've never owned a pair of cat boots. I was definitely a Irish setter guy, and before that, a Red Wing guy. Hunter says I chewed through my cat boots. Yeah, we'll see. I definitely put them. I definitely put them through their paces. I'll definitely be able to do a good review. I put them on last night. They were pretty comfortable. They didn't seem extremely heavy compared to the Keens. They were a little heavier. Not significantly, I don't think, though. They were lighter than the Crosby, the Irish Setter Crosbys that I was going to get, but those are also a little higher on the calf, Cowboys boot pull-on style. So we'll see. I'll put them through their paces. Maybe they improved. Maybe they didn't. How recently were the cat boots both of you guys own, Mike and Hunter? Were they recent or a while ago? Could they have changed production? We'll see. So that's exciting. I got some other fun stuff coming. Corey, I was laughing. I was looking through the product list, and there was this little garden statue of an elephant spraying up LED lights, and the two baby elephants were behind it, and it was like spraying up a rainbow of lights. It looked like water that was cascading down onto the other two little elephants, and it's just like a little 2-foot garden statue. And I showed it to Corey. I was like, just laughing. I was like, I should request this thing. That'd be fun to have out on the property. And she goes, go for it. I think I got one on the way. Pretty sure I got one on the way. I think I got some hearing aids on the way, some generic hearing devices that I'm going to test out. I don't know. There's a whole list of stuff. I went deep. Once I got the shed up and got that video cleared, I had some time. So got to get more products up, get more videos up, make more money. So that is the plan. Got this week lining up. I got Delinquents Gully work to do, probably 3 days, and then I have our work to do on our property and a day of production for videos this week. So it should be a good week. Mike says mine were several years ago, all black, and didn't look anything like what I got. Yeah, we'll see. And I'm not afraid to tell somebody their stuff sucks. I try to be very respectful of it and let them know my opinion and give them the option. They did send me a free sample in exchange for a review. That doesn't necessarily mean that they want my review public. I will tell you guys. But if they don't want me to trash their stuff or they want to reply, I always give them that option because it just might not work for me. Who knows? Who knows? We will see. We will see. Give them go one today. If I come back tomorrow and one's ripped to shreds, I'll let you guys know you were definitely right about the Cat brand boots. Rewilder Life says hubby switched to steel-toed shoes and they last longer than the leather Red Wings, etc. He used to buy. Plus, it helped his feet. The composite toes. Rewilder Life says I actually think they're composite toes. Yeah, my big switch that helped me the most, and if you wear steel-toed boots or you wear work boots, really get your foot measured properly. And it isn't necessarily the way your mom used to do it, where you put your foot in the shoe and see where your toe sits. Get them measured length and width, and also get them measured where your foot bends when you take a step, where it bends. You would be surprised once you find someone. So I was lucky enough to have somebody come to my workplace in a Red Wing boot truck. He had just gone to a seminar where they were teaching people to measure shoes different than the old school, with the foot slide, the thing where you stepped on it and they put it against your toes and they put it against your width, and that's how they figured out how big your shoe was. Once he measured the length and the width and then also found the bend point in my foot and used all of that to figure out what size boots I had to wear, my life changed. My feet weren't sore. My feet didn't feel restricted. They didn't hurt. Wilder Life says the ankle restriction with the boot, but he's not in the woods. He's on concrete. Yeah, stability in the boot definitely helps. I also needed the shin protection because I was always kneeling on concrete and working in holes and things like that. So it was definitely a boot job, the last one I had, and in the woods, it's probably preferable to have the boots and with ankle rolls and things like that. Rewilder Life says he's a 13 triple E. Yeah, I go as wide as they'll send me, because it simulates barefoot. But once the guy gave me my shoe length based on where my foot bent, my shoes actually were a size bigger than what I had been buying. That what it measured out properly when they did the length thing, it was a size too short, and it changed my life. I no longer had issues with steel toes. I no longer had issues with my feet hurting. My back felt better. Make sure you're wearing the right size shoes, guys. It could change your life for sure. Anyway, we're at 109 here. Let's get the hell out of here and let Scramblin' do his AAR. If you want to hear how Scotch West went, slip on over there. I got to process Comfrey orders. I got to process the show. I got to do a bunch of stuff and then get out to the property and get a bunch of stuff done on Delinquent Scully this week. Guys, I appreciate you listening and spending your Monday morning here having some coffee. If you enjoyed the show, it's always free to hit that like, share, and subscribe. To return value for value, please consider joining one of the YouTube membership tiers or listening on any value for value platform like Podverse or Fountain.fm. Visit thelotsproject.com or comfreyRoots.com. We got 1 week left. This coming Sunday, the Share the Love coupon code gets turned off, and we'll be back to single orders only, no more 2-for-1s. So comfreyRoots.com. Share it with anybody that you know that needs some Comfrey Roots heading into this summer. And it's Monday, guys. Go knock it out of the park. Have a great day, and we will catch up with you tomorrow.